And now we will give an opportunity to Faisal Mustafa to present, his presentation. Okay, the time is yours, Faisal.
Thank you very much, Bapak Dr. Iskandar, for the opportunity. I want to take this opportunity to discuss, to explain things that are a bit technical. So I might use Chinese and Bahasa Indonesia, yeah, if necessary. Yeah,
Okay.
right. Yeah. Let me first start with the template. Actually, I do not need to explain everything in the template because all explanation is already there. I just need to introduce the template. Yeah. Yeah, we have heard very good insights into publication from previous keynote speakers. And I think now is you're ready to prepare your manuscript. Yeah, when you get that time. So you are going to need you need to know the step in paper preparation in order then in order that it can be sent to the journal, and hopefully it can be accepted, yeah, with major or minor revision. It doesn't matter as long as it is not rejected. Okay, let me share the template. Actually, I have just updated the template in the journal. So if you want to download the template, the newest version of the template, you can just go to the journal website and then you can download it. It's on the right side, on the right sidebar. Yeah. Well, what I should suggest is that you read everything in the template. Yeah, everything at all. Yeah, we explain everything here. Like it is actually not 180. Dr. Olia has already mentioned it is 150 now. There's some changes, and make sure that you read that the indent is 1 here. It's 1 centimeter. So make sure that you are as detailed as that. And the word count and everything is here. So the best way to do it is that you copy your paper, you already prepared paper, into the template, or you can just start writing in the template. So instead of using instead of formatting your own paper, you can use this template as the base format for your paper. So just make sure you read everything here, and it will, if you do that, then you will it will make your paper looks completely like the journal template. Yeah. Okay. And the table. Yeah. Make sure that you stick to the table, to the format of the table here, because well, each journal has its own format for the table. So please use the format that is provided in by our journal if you decide to send your paper to our journal. Also, we use APA 7 because it is an updated version of IPA style. And also it is simpler compared to previous version. You can, if you want to read more about the style, you can just click on the link, and all information you need will be there. Okay, so now let's see what we expect you to include in all heading here, in all sections of the paper. For that, I will share other slide. Yeah. Okay. Usually, people start with the title. Yeah. Well, So the title for your thesis or your dissertation is not always appropriate for the title of a paper. Okay, so because you usually have a case study in blah blah blah. Sometimes it's not necessary for the paper. So make sure that the title is as interesting as possible because it's the first thing that people read. Okay, and then they will decide whether your paper should be read or not. So make sure that you impress the reviewer or us, the editor, with a very interesting title. And then you can start with the introduction. You do not need to start with the abstract. You should prepare the abstract later after you complete the paper. And in the introduction, well, we found a lot of difficult to read introductions. Yeah, based on your submission from authors in the journal. And actually, there is a procedure like a format or a genre for introduction section. Here, let me summarize those things into more simple steps. Yeah. In writing your introduction, you only need two to three paragraphs. I think you do not need to write 10 paragraphs. Sometimes in your thesis you have so many paragraphs that if you include those things into the paper, it would be very difficult for the reviewers and for the editor to inspect whether your paper is appropriate for our journal. So here I summarize there are 4 parts that you need for your introduction, and each part does not need to have its own paragraph. One paragraph can contain more than one part, for example, 2 parts. Let's start from the first one, which is why the topic is interesting. For that, first we need to understand what the topic is. You say, this is the example of the title. Yeah, let's see, like the title is correlation between student access and teacher self-efficacy in teaching online classes. So your primary variable or the topic is student access. And let's take a look at the last one. For example, the translation technique used in translating the smartphone manual, user manual. So your important or primary variable or the topic is translation technique. So first, you need to make sure in your introduction, you need to make sure that you explain to the reader that your topic, the topic or the primary variable is indeed interesting. And let's take a look at the example. I prepared an example here. So this is in this example. So why here you can see that why the topic is interesting, which is about intelligence, multiple intelligence, is because it influences achievement. Then you cannot just say it influences achievement. You need citation for that. You need to convince your reader, and then you need to explain that the topic is indeed interesting. So that's the first part. Don't get carried away. Don't explain the importance of your topic in 2 paragraphs. Yeah, probably 3 sentences are enough. Yeah. So that's why you need to be as precise as possible. Yeah, being precise is very important because people who read your paper must be people who are tired, okay, lazy, yeah, and busy. Okay, yeah. All right. So make sure it's as precise as possible. You need to be as brief as possible. So that's the first part, explaining that your topic is interesting. Okay, and the second one is you need to present what we have already known about the topic. So if the topic is about multiple intelligence, so what you need to explain what we already know in multiple intelligences. Okay. This is the example. Okay. Since then, many research studies have been conducted. So we know a lot of things in this topic because there have been many studies conducted. So then you present what we already know, such as its learning characteristic based on the intelligences, and then how it benefits students if multiple intelligences are considered in classroom. And then another research studies here. Students with strong logical mathematical intelligence learn math better. Okay, so these things, these are what we already have, what we already know, what we already know in the now in this topic, in your topic. And then you present what we have not already know. So that you are presenting research gap. Yeah, many like yeah, many books refer that to research gap. Okay, there we go. So yeah, you present what else we based on what we have already known, what else we need to know, and why we need to know that if it is not already clear. If it is clear, why we need to know that you do not need to repeat. And then the answer of what else do we need to know should be your research topic. Yeah, should be your research question. Sorry, should be your research question. Yeah. So make sure that you start from the general explanation to a more specific one, to your research question or your research purpose. Let's take a look at the example here. So regardless of what we already know, however, here there is a lack of empirical study. So we do not have any empirical study here. Yeah, so we do not know the empirical result, or we do not have the proof whether what people already mentions are right or wrong. Here, however, there's a lack of empirical study, belum ada penelitian which was conducted to find out. Nah, ini yang belum kita ketahui ya. Ini yang apa? Yang ya, ini yang masih perlu kita ketahui. Whether student with strong logical, apakah student yang strong ini memang bisa belajar lebih cepat atau lebih cepat dan lebih bagus daripada yang weak. Ya. Yeah. So here and you can emphasize that, ya, bisa di strengthen dengan mengatakan walaupun memang sudah ada penelitian sebelumnya, namun penelitian itu tidak bla bla bla. You can say, but I suggest you avoid that. You can say that the previous research is wrong. Yeah, but do not say that. Yeah, it's just so strong word. It's a very strong word. Yeah. Bisa dikatakan kekurangan dari penelitian sebelumnya untuk to justify that we still need to know this, untuk memberikan alasan kenapa penelitian ini itu masih harus dilakukan, kenapa yang kita ingin tahu ini penting untuk diketahui. Okay. And finally, the last part, yeah, okay, to present your research objective. So the first part, ensure that reader tahu bahwa topik ini menarik. Kemudian apa saja yang kita sudah ketahui tentang topik itu. Kemudian apa lagi yang perlu kita ketahui dan kenapa kita perlu tahu. Dan oleh karena itu penelitian ini akan mengadres yang itu yang perlu kita ketahui. Yeah, let's take a look at this one. Yeah, probably you cannot see it. Therefore, I forgot to highlight this one. Therefore, this research was intended to find out blah blah blah. Jadi terakhir adalah memberitahu tujuan penelitian. Okay. So ya, hanya itu yang perlu ada di reference di introduction. Make sure that you use reference to support your statement. Ya. Okay. So tidak perlu banyak diperlukan ya. Okay, so that's what you need to include in the first section of your paper, yaitu introduction. And in the second section, okay, literature review. Nah, Yeah, literature review is a comprehensive review of previous publications such as papers or books, yeah, which are related to your research focus. Okay, make sure that it's not too long, yeah, and it should also shows that it shows the gap in the literature, that there is something that we still, some information that we still do not have, which is the information that you would like to present, yeah, berdasarkan hasil penelitian nanti. And then try to be straightforward, yeah, do not repeat information. What I mean here is that one concept can be defined by 10 authors, such as intelligence. There are a lot of authors, a lot of experts who define the term intelligence. You do not need to present all of them, yeah. And you can combine those definition, because, well, although they state the definition in different words, but they mean the same thing. So you can use, you can summarize the definition, yeah, and I will show it in the example later. And if you search, when you search references, yeah, if you search it using Google, it's most likely that Google is going to present result from your country, yeah, because it use some kind of I don't know, geo tagging, yeah. First of all, if you are in Indonesia and you do some searches, you're going to get a lot of results from Indonesian journals. And so the best way to ensure that you get the reference or sources from various countries, then you can use DOAJ, yeah, Deutsch, yeah. That's a website, and you can just click on Google, type on Google, and you're going to find it. And or from Scopus, or you can use the software called Publish and or Perish. Yeah? The software is very interesting, and you don't have to worry about not knowing how to use that. You can just search in YouTube, and there are countless videos on it. Okay, so you can use Publish and Perish to find titles of paper, and then you can search individual titles in, for example, in your library website or in Google. Okay, yeah. And let's look at some bad examples of literature review. We found this in some publications, in some submitted papers. Well, first, do not explain. Do not write literature review based on each paper. For example, the first research was conducted, blah blah. The method that they use, blah blah, is blah blah blah, and the results, blah blah. You don't need that. The authors do not need this information. Yeah. Or some authors present each paper in one paragraph. It's very difficult to read. Yeah. And the example is the first research. In the first paragraph, he explained about the first research, and then he continued the second research in the next paragraph. That's not a good example. Well, these are not good examples of literature review. Let's take a look at the better example. Yeah. Okay, like we can see here that this author present the definition of plagiarism. So the author did not did not write definition based on each author, but he combined the definition of experts into one sentence. Okay, so it is this is like it is like you are reading a book actually, but all statements in the books are referred from, because it is literature review, right? So we review previous publications. Okay. And so yeah, this is the literature review. If you want to know about how to review literature quickly, yeah, you can search in YouTube. Yeah, there are a lot of ways to do it. You can use like thematic ways, or yeah, that I'm sure you're going to find a lot of ways, and you can choose one which you suit your writing style or your reading style. Okay, let's go on to the next one, the method. Yeah. Um, well, in the method section, make sure that you are as transparent as possible. Make sure that you reveal all information about your data collection, data analysis, and your sample. First, you can start with the design, whether it is qualitative or quantitative, and you need to explain why the design that you choose is appropriate. Why should you choose the design? Why not the other? And then you present the uh, participants or respondents, uh, which is who was involved in your research and why, and make sure that you are as detailed as possible, as comprehensively as possible. So you have to reveal all information about your participants. So if other people would like to conduct the same study, they would likely to get the same result as yours. And then you present your instrument, what instrument are you going to use, and why that instrument is appropriate, and then how the instrument is going to be used. So in the instrument section, if you decide to divide the section method into several subsections, so in the instrument subsection, you explain how the instruments look like, how many items do you have, whether you design it or you adopted it from somebody else, and what is the reliability or validity of the instrument, and then whether it is translated into your language, and is there any certain translation technique that the author used, and that kind of thing. And then in the data collection, in that data collection technique, to explain how the instrument is used. Yeah, whether you deliver it online, whether you explain the instrument before your participant complete the instrument, or whether how long the participants have to complete the questionnaire, or yeah, the instrument, and whether if it is an interview, whether the interview is structured or unstructured, or yeah, in what kind of environment. So you need to explain everything. Yeah. Later, I'm going to show you one of the subsections, so you would be able to see like how much detail we need in writing the research method. And finally, data analysis. Yeah, this is very important for the data analysis. Yeah, you need to explain how the data, your data is analyzed, and if yeah, you also need to mention how the conclusion is made based on the data analysis. Yeah, if it is quantitative, then you need to explain how you decide whether your hypothesis is rejected or accepted. Yeah? And then make sure that you always refer to your to research framework which you present in the literature review, or yeah, in the literature review. Yeah, yeah, especially for qualitative research. Yeah, make sure that it sticks to research framework. And let's take a look at one of the examples here. The research participant. So this is the detail that reader needs. This is participant. So because this is about yeah, internet connection. I think this is about internet connection. Yeah. So you need to explain about the number of participants. Yeah. From it says here from 21 provinces in Indonesia. So it gives all information required. And then the ages, they are between 29 to 40 years of age. Yeah. And here the author also present their locations in a map. This is, well, it is very easy to see that the participants are spread in all across in all parts of Indonesia. Yeah? And some information are also given here. Some information is also given here, such as 51 teachers from elementary school, and then some from junior high school and senior high school. Yeah. and also the location of the schools. Some are from rural schools, some from semi-urban school, and some from urban school. Yeah, urban schools. So so if other researcher would like to duplicate this research, it is very easy because all information is here. So yeah, also in ensuring that whether the research result applies to certain areas, we can also look at the research participant characteristic. Yeah. Okay, this is the detail that we need actually. We need a lot of detail as much as possible. So not only one sentence or two sentences. Yeah. Okay. Let's take a look at the second one. Sorry, not the second one. The third, the fourth one. Result. Yeah. Sometimes this is also challenging, but for me, this is a very important part of my paper. Yeah, presenting the result. Yeah. Here we can impress people. Yeah. Look at my result. Yeah, this is very interesting. Okay. Yeah. We can start to because yeah, people have read the introduction, the literature review and method, but sometimes people do not read that. People just start from the result. So ensure that you mention the research objective, or you can restate the research question, or you explain the topic of the research before you start the result. To link between the result and the research. Yeah? And well, because thesis is comprehensive, it's a very long piece of writing, and usually you have more than one research question, and it's rare that you only have one research question. So for your paper, make sure that you choose interesting finding. You do not need to include everything from your thesis into in your paper. Just choose interesting findings. Yeah. Say that if you conduct mixed method research, and you give your participant questionnaire, a test, and then you give them questionnaire, and then you give them interview. Let's see that you only obtain important information or interesting information in the interview. So you can just report the interview, the result of the interview. Yeah. If it is a quantitative research, yeah, you should use statistic, of course, and you can use some excerpt or examples if you use full qualitative research. And then make sure that you present your data chronologically based on framework. Yeah. And here, because this is the result, make sure that there's no interpretation or judgment. Yeah. You cannot say that the research result is significant here. Not yet. Yeah. You should mention that in the discussion. So no explanation yet. Yeah. Yeah, to make it interesting, you should use table or figure rather than just description. Yeah. It is easier for readers to read information in visualize information. Yeah. Okay. Let's take a look at one way of one way of presenting a result, which is table. Yeah, and I provide this example because we usually find that the authors repeat information in the table when they describe the table. Here's a table. Let's say table 9. So in the table description below, please do not repeat the information. Do not restate the information in the table. Yeah, but instead you need to summarize the table, and yeah, you need to summarize the table, or you give some conclusion based on the table. Do not repeat the information in the table. Do not say that internet access, there is 41% blah blah. You don't need to mention that, yeah, because your reader can read that in the table. Yeah. Okay, and then let's go on to a very important part of your paper. So in the literature review, you should write everything based on the literature review, based on previous research. If you want to say a lot of things, you want to chang panah, yeah, can do that in the discussion. Yeah. Yeah. So in the discussion, you have to mention what the result means, not just presenting the result. You need to mention what it means. Okay. And then why the result is expected. I mean, why? How come did you get that result? Yeah. Yeah. Or here in bahasa Indonesia version, kok hasilnya demikian, ya? Kenapa hasilnya seperti itu? And for that, then you need to use literature. So you need to compare your result to the literature to explain your result. And then you need to ensure that you include why the result is important. Okay. So if the result is, if there is one or two results which cannot be explained because you do not have yeah, you do not have time to read literature, or because you just do not know what it means. So avoid presenting that information, yeah, because the reviewer will ask you why. You will ask you to explain the result. So if you cannot explain it, just do not put it there. Yeah. And for that, yeah, let's take a look at the example here. Sorry about the colorful example. Yeah. Here you can, this is in the discussion section. So in the first sentence, you can see that the author here is presenting the result. So the result is there were positive, moderate to strong correlations between the variables for teachers, for all teachers. Okay. And then the second sentence explains what it means. So this question suggests, so this is what the result means. So in the third sentence here, why the result, why the result is as expected. Kenapa hasilnya demikian is provided in the third sentence. Kemudian the rest of the sentences relate or compare the result of previous studies with the result of our study. Okay, so that's why you see a lot of references here. So you do not only present the result, but you also explain it and then relate it to previous research. And to make it easy, you can use this structure for first you explain that, you remind the reader the topic of research, and then you report expected result, which can be explained, with result which is based on literature, hasil yang tidak menarik, ya, yang sesuai dengan teori, sesuai dengan harapan sebelumnya. And then you can start with unexpected result, hasil yang tidak sesuai harapan, ya, hasil yang berbanding terbalik dengan harapan, ya. For example, if student learn using this technique, ya, seharusnya mereka berhasil, tetapi dalam penelitian kita mendapatkan tidak berhasil. This is what we mean by unexpected result. Okay, and then we need to explain why the result is unexpected. Kenapa hasilnya tidak seperti yang diharapkan. Okay. And then you explain the implication, apa pentingnya hasil penelitian untuk bidang ilmu tersebut, ataupun untuk education, atau untuk linguistik, bidang linguistik, ya, terus gantung dari penelitiannya, ya. And then what are the limitations, ya, apa kekurangan di penelitian ini, dan jika bisa we can explain kenapa kekurangan itu tidak terlalu penting, ya. Jika memang tidak terlalu penting, tapi kalau kekurangan itu penting, dan bisa dan sangat sangat mempengaruhi hasil, then you do not, ya, kalau tidak bisa dijustifikasi jangan dijustifikasi, kasih tahu aja bahwa kekurangan penelitian ini adalah seperti ini. Ya. Right, and then finally the conclusion. In conclusion, you need to just summarize the result and then provide suggestion based on the result. Suggestionnya jangan kemana-mana, tapi suggestionnya harus harus sejalan dengan hasil yang kita temukan. Finally, reference and citation, ya. Ini bagian yang sangat penting, ya. As Bu Yudhisthira mentioned, ya, make sure that all sources that you cite in your paper ada di reference list, ya. Dan untuk mengecek, boleh dicek satu-satu, ya, which is a very laborious work, ya, mengecek satu-satu, karena sometimes when you prepare your draft, ya, your supervisor might ask you to remove some parts of your thesis, some parts of your draft. Your draft, ya, saat kita remove bagian-bagian tertentu di dalam skripsi kita atau dalam paper kita karena diminta sama supervisor, for example, kita lupa meremove referensi yang ada di situ, ataupun kita meremove referensi juga, tetapi sebenarnya referensi itu ada kita cite di bagian lain di paper kita. So that's why after you complete everything that you need to double check your reference, ya. Untuk membuat proses ini cepat, you can use this website, ya. This website is just so useful, ya. Reciteworks.com. Yeah, you can upload your paper to reciteworks.com, and then the website will give you information whether one or two sources in the text is available in the reference. Apakah sesuai antara referensi yang ada di dalam paper dengan referensi yang ada di reference list. Apakah sesuai? Kalau nggak sesuai, website-nya akan meng-highlight, ya. And if you want to make everything easy for you, if you do not need to worry about reference, about formatting, ya, you can just use Mendeley. Itu yang paling murah, yang paling murah karena gratis, ya, yang gratis, Mendeley, ataupun EndNote kalau yang berbayar, and also Zotero. You can also use Zotero, ya. Zotero juga gratis, ya. So you can use Mendeley, for example. If you want to know how to use Mendeley, you can just go to YouTube, ya. There are a lot of videos on how to use Mendeley. Dengan menggunakan Mendeley sangat mudah, ya. I have been using Mendeley for several years now, and I found it very useful, ya. And kita sebenarnya butuh satu pertemuan khusus kalau mau berdiskusi tentang reference dan citation, termasuk penggunaan Mendeley. And I hope that there will be another session for that, yeah, in the future, especially when you are preparing the paper. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all I need to discuss or to explain about how the paper is prepared in order to be submitted to the journal, and it meets the journal requirement, ya. Nah, kalau semua sudah kita masukkan di situ, kemudian paper kita di reject, berarti jurnal tersebut memang tidak cocok untuk paper kita. It doesn't mean that our paper does not have high quality, but yeah, probably you just need to send it to another journal yang lebih cocok. I think, yeah, that's it, Bapak Dr. Iskandar, yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm ready to take question.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Faisal. Very comprehensive, yeah. Pak Faisal has already presented steps, even a very detailed steps, how to make sure that your manuscript will be accepted by journals, a certain journals. Yeah, I assume that Pak Faisal's presentation is intended for authors who want to submit their manuscript to reputable journals. All right, now we would like to pick up two questions regarding Pak Faisal's presentation, and of course all of us, Pak Aulia, Ibu Yuyun, and me will give you comments regarding your questions. All right. Who wanna ask first?
Saya sir, data.
Yes, Japa.
Sir.
Okay, Japa. Where is your camera?
I'm so sorry I can't open my camera right now because I'm doing house chores
Oh, all right. That's all right.
while
Yes,
listening to
Japa.
this.
That's all
But
right.
thank you for your opportunity, sir.
Right.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you for Mr. Faisal who had explained a lot about how to write in a journal. Well, during my thesis writing, I have a problem in writing discussion actually, and it was really confusing for me at the first time. And I would like to ask, do you think that if we put when we have found something interesting that which is not found before in the recent in other finding, can we please put it in the discussion or we can put it in another point? Should we put it in the discussion field or we will put our our special finding in another sub unit? That's my question. And then also what would we do if our journal rejected? Should we make another one or make another one? What would you do with that, sir? So it's still make me worried actually. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gata, for a very good question. Okay, two questions from Gata. So if you find new things in research, where to put, in which section that we need to insert the information, either in
Yes, sir.
discussion or result, right? And then the second one is if it is rejected, what should we do next? All right,
Yeah.
Pak Faisal.
Yes, yeah, that's a very good question, Gata. Yeah, and yeah, I would like to answer the first question. Um, um, Actually, unique result which has not already been discovered by other researchers in previous research is good news actually. Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good news. So that is what I mean by unexpected result. Yeah. So although it is not unexpected at all. Yeah. So yeah, you should include the result in the result section and then discuss it in the discussion. Just treat it as usual result, as other result, and it's best to highlight the result. Yeah, and also mention this result in the what do you call that research implication. Yeah. So you don't need to treat the result differently. Yeah, just consider it as a result. But that's good news when you get the result which has not been which is not available anywhere. Then the result is very interesting, and that will be a reason for reviewers and for editors to publish your research. Ya, yeah. So hasil yang sudah kita dapatkan dari penelitian sebelumnya tidak terlalu berguna karena orang sudah tahu. Hasil yang berguna adalah hasil yang sebelumnya orang belum tahu. Karena penelitian kita lah dia tahu. Yeah. I think that answered. I hope that answered the first question.
Okay.
Ya.
Yes, sir. Of course. Thank you.
Much, Pak Faisal. Maybe Pak Aulia want to add some more?
Yes, thank you very much, Pak Dr. Iskandar and Pak Faisal, Mustafa. I agree with Pak Faisal. Based on my experience, in quantitative data, in short, right? In quantitative data, we call it outlier. Yeah? Outlier. Sometimes because I attended a workshop about this, whether to present it or not. I agree with you. So that's why you feel very curious and worried about it. When your findings are very unique, right? So there are some strategies. You may present it in the end of major findings, or you really want to highlight it as the most unique ones. So the one who you must discuss is your supervisors. Okay, try to talk with your supervisors whether you want to highlight the unique one. Of course, it depends on many aspects. In my experience, whether the data representative is strong enough. So, for example, all of my data from qualitative data, and it corroborates, it supports that such finding and becomes a major thing, unique and a major thing. And I was a bit worried because it's never appear in other researchers, in other studies. But my supervisor say, this is what we want. This is what we want. You have to highlight it. So it depends. It depends on many aspects. One of them is your data representativeness, the how you highlight your context, because your context may be in Indonesia, maybe one of the thing that people has never or have never done it. So it is very important to highlight. So it depends on all of these aspects. Please discuss this issue with your supervisors. This is all from me, Pak Iskandar.
Thank
All
you,
right,
sir.
thank you very much, Pak Alia. Ibu Yuyun, do you want to have some suggestion, maybe?
Okay, can I turn off my camera,
Yeah,
Pak
okay,
Is?
that's all right.
Because,
That's right, Yuyun.
yeah, my baby just woke up.
Oh, okay, okay.
So, thank you, Pak Is. So, Gata, thank you for the question. Now,
Yes,
for me, to me personally, if you are let's say a novice researcher, a beginner, yeah, in conducting research, yeah, typically, when you find something new in your findings, you mention it in your discussion. Yeah. So this is because this is different from Paulia. Paulia was doing his PhD. Yeah. Of course, he is doing something that is new in the field. Yeah. But usually, beginner researcher, such as S1 and S2 students, we tend to replicate other people's framework and use it to our data. Yeah, sometimes most of the data are localized. So when you find something new, you mention it in your findings because the very basic of writing a research paper is to answer a research question. So what is your question? What do you want to answer? You answer that first in your results. And then afterwards, let's say while answering your results, and then there is some new findings there, of course, you mention it there too, but the discussion is in the discussion section. Ya, jadi seperti saya bilang tadi, discussion itu bukan mengelaborasi data. It is connecting your findings to the literature. So if you say you found something new, you mention it in the discussion. Now, this research have found that there is another variable, for example, yeah, to this issue, and it is blah, 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 blah. However, the research, the previous research based on Sipolan have not mentioned it before. So you see, you mentioned that something new in your discussion and you discuss it. Yeah. So that is if you are still learning how to write, you are a beginner, the best way to put the new findings is in your result, but then you discuss it after you present it. Yeah, that is, you discuss it in the discussion. And then the next question is what happens if about the journal reject your article. What's that?
Yeah, Miss. What should we do if it gets rejected?
Jadi kalau rejected, you have to submit to another journal. Ya, saya dengan kawan saya ada artikel yang 5 tahun baru publish. Ya, itu 10 jurnal, 9 jurnal sudah reject, jurnal ke-10 buahnya di situ baru publish. Ya, jadi memang kadang-kadang journal very let's say big journals, reputable journals, sometimes they know that our research is good, our writing is good, tapi kita di-reject kenapa? Karena dianggap penelitian itu sudah banyak orang tulis. Itu bisa jadi hal yang membuat kita di-reject di jurnal-jurnal besar. Ya, bukan berarti kadang-kadang artikel kita jelek, ini itu bukan. Tapi the topic is too common and they want something really new because they are a very big and reputable journal, let's say. Ya. Jadi nanti kita bisa turun peringkat. Tapi insya Allah untuk anak S2, kalian hanya diminta minimum Sinta 3, right? Nah,
Yes,
singkat tiga, insya Allah kalau menulis sudah tepat seperti Pak Faisal tadi jelaskan, kalian tahu bagaimana menanggapi hasil review seperti tadi Pak Aulia jelaskan, insya Allah akan accepted. Ya, kalau
Amin, amin.
level-level singkat tiga biasanya itu di reject kalau artikel tidak ditulis dengan baik. Nah, itu saja.
Okay.
Ya, artikel itu tidak ditulis dengan baik, grammarnya kacau, paragrafnya tidak saling terconnect, ya, kalimatnya tidak saling berkaitan, itu yang membuat artikel di reject. Ya, itu
I
yang
miss.
paling dasar. Jadi insya Allah, if you follow the tips as Pak Faisal have explained, how to write the introduction, how to write the literature review, how to present the references, insya Allah it will be accepted, by a journal in Sintatida. And then once you get the result by the reviewer, you know the process like Pak Aulia have explained, inshallah everything will go smooth for you during the revision. So don't worry. Don't worry. Itu saja yang harus kalian perhatikan. Apa yang sudah ditulis dibaca. Jangan setelah tulis tidak baca, mengharap-harap pembimbing yang baca. No. That's your job to read what you have written. Kami pembimbing membimbing, namanya saja pembimbing. Kami bukan proofreader, kami bukan editor, kami pembimbing, Nah, jadi kita bimbing bagaimana framework yang betul, ini arahnya kemana, itu tugas kami,
Miss.
So what you have written, you must reread. Jadi jangan sampai tadi ada orang copas-copas tesis buat artikel, nomor tabel pun lupa diedit, Okay. Begitu saja tips dari saya, Pak Is.
Okay, thank you very much, Ibu Yuyun, for the response. Okay, I would like to pick up a question from Irayuni. Yeah, Irayuni? Yes, please.
Okay, thank you, sir. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. After graduating my bachelor degree in 2009, I became a teacher. I know how to teach, probably. I know how to make design strategy in learning process, probably. But it is very difficult, very less in writing, of course. Luckily, I have opportunity to attend this webinar, and it's very beneficial for me. Thank you a lot for all the key speaker. I really appreciate it. Okay, the question is still related to what Gata Humaira asked before. During our research, we find something or the result is not supposed to be as we think. If we compare it with the previous findings of the research from the other researchers, that is very confused. So I want to know, Mr. Faisal has answered before, because if we don't get the findings like as a result, like we supposed before, so we just reveal it in our essay, so our reasons and result be transparent, of course. But if we look back with the findings by the authors before, that is very confused, sangat berlawanan. Then maybe there are some advice from you, key speaker, how to avoid the result that is not the result that we don't expect before, because we don't want to expose the result that will make our title is not we don't want to expose the result that is not related to the title we said before. That is my question, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Irayuni. Very good questions. How to avoid the unexpected result?
Yes, because we don't want to expose the result because that is not related to the title we said before.
Okay, right. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Pak Faisal, do you have any ideas how to avoid, this kind of things?
Yeah, that's a very, very good question, Bu Ira, thank you, Pak Iskandar. Normalnya mungkin kita menulis judul itu sebelum kita melakukan penelitian. Nah, tetapi yang bagusnya kita menulis judul itu setelah kita dapat hasil. Nah, jadi kita mulai menulis paper itu setelah dapat hasil, bukan sebelum dapat hasil. Jadi kita tidak mencoba mengarahkan hasil penelitian itu ke ke judul kita, tapi judul kita lah yang harus menyesuaikan diri dengan hasil. Nah, jadi you do not need to worry, Bu Ira, kalau mendapatkan hasil yang tidak sesuai dengan hasil yang tidak berhubungan dengan topik kita. Misalnya topik kita menggunakan CTL misalnya untuk mengajarkan vocabulary misalnya. Nah, ternyata misalnya hasilnya nggak bagus hasilnya. Nah, hasilnya siswa kita nggak bisa. Nah, mereka vocabulary setelah belajar menggunakan CTL. Nah, kemudian kita interview, kita kan nggak puas nih, kok nggak berhasil, seharusnya berhasil. Kemudian kita interview mereka. Rencana kita awalnya adalah hanya kasih treatment aja, kita kasih pretest, kemudian kita kasih treatment dengan CTL, kemudian kita kasih post test. Setelah kita kasih post test, kita analisa, kok ada hasil nih. Nah, berarti kesimpulan sementara positif aja misalnya kita mau melakukan penelitian dengan benar. Lain kalau misalnya kita tidak melakukan penelitian dengan benar, misalnya CTL-nya adalah langkah-langkah kita nggak gunakan misalnya. Tapi kita anggap aja misalnya kita sudah melakukan semua dengan benar, tapi hasilnya nggak meningkat vocabulary mereka. Nah, berarti kesimpulan kita mungkin memang VTL tidak cocok untuk siswa seperti itu. Nah, kita kan nggak mau present hasil yang tidak berhasil. Nah, oke. Kemudian kita mencari cara lain, coba kita interview mereka. Nah, kemudian setelah kita interview mereka, kita dapatkan hasilnya, yang hasilnya itu tidak ada hubungannya dengan penggunaan CTE dalam mengajarkan vocabulary. Mungkin hasilnya ke motivasi. Nah, mereka ternyata tidak termotivasi belajar dengan guru A misalnya. Nah, jadi kan dah lain hasilnya, tidak ada hubungannya lagi dengan cara kita. Nah, jadi kita bisa menulis judul kita. Nah, mungkin peran motivasi di dalam pembelajaran vocabulary, tidak ada hubungan lagi dengan rencana kita awal. Jadi judul kita lah yang harus menyesuaikan dengan hasil, bukan hasilnya harus kita sesuaikan dengan judul. Nah, jadi judul di akhirnya nanti. Nah, begitu dapat hasil yang tidak ada tadi mungkin bukan unexpected yang maksud Ibu Ira, yang maksud Ibu Ira hasil yang tidak ada hubungannya dengan penelitian kita. Nah, berbeda dengan misalnya kita mahasiswa yang lagi membuat tesis, itu tidak boleh seperti itu kan. Karena membuat tesis kita buat judul dulu, kemudian kita buat introduction-nya, kemudian kita buat literature review, kemudian kita buat method. Itu karena kita mesti belajar meneliti. Jadi semuanya harus kita rencanakan sebelum kita lakukan, perencanaannya harus sistematis. Nah, jadi kalau ada di dalam dalam tesis hasil yang kita dapatkan untuk penelitian tesis tidak ada hubungannya dengan question kita, itu mungkin Pak Aulia dan Bu Yusina bisa menjawab lebih bagus, tapi menurut saya itu tidak perlu kita masukkan ke dalam ke dalam hasil kita. Nah, kecuali kita mau merubah kembali dari introduction, kemudian literature review mungkin harus ditambahkan variabel lain, kemudian di method yang harus ditambahkan variabel lain di method, itu ada instrumen lain mungkin di method, itu boleh saja ya, tapi mungkin keterbatasan waktu ya yang membuat kita sebaiknya menghindari saja, tidak usah masukkan hasil yang tidak berhubungan dengan penelitian kita. Mungkin demikian Pak Iskandar, mungkin
Alright.
ada lain yang lebih.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Faisal, for a very good response.